Good morning, good evening or night depending when you're watching this video. My name is Alegende and welcome back to World of Tanks and the Stronk Strongholds series. So today we're playing on Cliff at tier 6 strongholds, and the main strategy here on Cliff is to rush E4, F4 in order to gain control over that dip in which you have multiple lines of fire that will eventually get you an advantage. I shot somebody there on the move. Maybe he was joking around, so I wanted to scare him. So you see that even though you can do it for a joke, it never is a good idea to fire at your own teammates. But let's see if that has an impact further along. So right now we have got the perfect position to encounter the enemy team, intercept them while they are advancing in the middle. So by doing this kind of crossfire we already have a short advantage. You can see one medium staying downside for a little while. That's not really that necessary. Every enemy tank is already spotted, so there's no need to stay downside. So right there, arty strikes. Ours was a little bit better directed on the heavy tank, while theirs was, well, I could retreat just in the nick of time. So here you see Guardian overextending his tank sideways towards the enemy. He will get some damage shots for that. I'll do it in the correct way, side scraping more thoroughly and bouncing a few shots in the process, like that one. And I even eventually shut down the Firefly. But as you can see, it doesn't work every time, especially not in medium tanks, so I am already a one-shot. But I'm not the only one who is a one-shot. So right here I make a bit of a misplay. I really want to help the team, but right now I am getting distracted by the flipped T-3485, and because of that the Type 64 can shut me down. So we lost our number advantage right here. We should play it more carefully because many of us were one-shots, and that is probably because of getting out-traded too many times or peeking too many times. So a huge misplay of us as a team. So how to improve this? Well, if you are a one-shot or in some extent even a two-shot but low hit points nevertheless, only try to peek when the battle commander is telling you. In most cases, those who are on one or two shots are better off just playing more defensively and shooting only when the enemy is distracted by a team member with more hit points. Just switching the roles around between tanks in the front and the tanks behind the front who are acting as a support. So in this situation, how would you handle this as a battle commander? Pause the video right here and let me know in the comments what would you do in this situation. So right now we are taking that message and now we are playing extra carefully. So right here I tell King Cook to pre-aim for an ambush since the enemy tank was still hiding behind a rock. And again, when you cannot see the outline of an enemy, he can't fire at you. You can take the ambush position and wait for his mistakes if you have more HP than him. And once again, you don't see the enemy stay in the open to aim at you, you can take the ambush position again. So right here, a bit of a poor choice to focus all mediums at one side, because nobody is watching the other side of the rock, of the hill right here, for the enemies. This luckily gets noted by the battle commander, and he fixes that mistake right now by sending one of our mediums back to the other side. So with time ticking further and further, we are setting us up for a final approach from 3 sides. Right now we are in equal numbers and have around equal chances, but since we don't think that the enemy will rush us, we want to take the initiative in order to maybe still get a win out of this game. So now with this little time we have to go. King Koekoek does a great shutdown right here and gets away with multiple shots from the Type 64 who are bouncing off. However, his luck does run out, but it gives enough time for Tank Buster Dani to shut the Type 64 down. Unfortunately, Guardian could not engage into the fight. Luckily, Dani is in a flanking position, but will he be on time? He is, shutting the final tank down at the last seconds of the game. So this Stronghold battle was quite a roller coaster. At first we are off to a great start, getting a flanking position, taking the advantage and eventually outnumbering the enemy tanks. However, we were a bit too overconfident, peaking too many times and losing so many hit points that too much of our tanks became one shot and were picked off quite rapidly by a counter attack by the enemies. So never underestimate the situation. However, right after that we knew that we have to play more carefully, so we did, trying to lure out the enemy more and more, eventually getting the numbers equal. However, with little time we didn't want to wait out for a draw, so we did a final attack which just barely worked, but you see that sometimes these kinds of final strategies are necessary, even though the risk is very high of losing as well. But that makes a great game, and all of that became a very good battle to learn from. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Laters!